We're doing it live. Okay, actually introduce the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast. If you don't know, Bill O'Reilly went off and said, we're doing it live. So Heather keeps yelling it. Welcome to the Baking It Down podcast. This is Corey and Heather with Sugar Cookie Marketing. We're actually a group on Facebook that did a spinoff. And we said, you know what? People probably want to hear about marketing instead of just reading it because you're busy bakers baking it up during the holiday season. So we bring you little nuggies, know-hows, to-dos, and what-dos about your marketing life.
Corey's in the worst mood this morning, which she won't. And then we want to. Okay, so this will be the third time we would restart this, so I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
We're going to do it live, as Corey said. But we're going to jump into this week's topic, and then I'm going to touch on the Vendy Blundy. Corey and I actually have a better deal, although she disagrees with me on it. Mm-hmm. Yep, that was why she was in the bad mood. So you guys understand what I deal with for you. But we wanted to call this week's podcast the AtFault Cult.
AtFault Cult. Everyone thinks they're drinking the Kool-Aid in Sugar Cookie Marketing, and we always run to the refund. So let's call it AtFault.
Let's just make it a cult. If you're going to pour Kool-Aid, let's call it at fault, meaning absorbing fault at any given instance, even when you're not 100% at fault.
Yes.
And Corey learned this lesson the interestingly monetary way this week when she took in an order. The lady bypassed the form because, you know, she went to go to the form. It says no availability, so they go around the form. So Corey already broke her process. Now that process was put in place. They say processes are written in blood because there was a reason that process of having this form was put in place so that this communication of the expectations of the order were real streamlined. Okay, well, the lady didn't like that Corey's book, so she went to Facebook Messenger and then did it that way. We've already deviated from the process, and we were debating if this should be a podcast on processes. But then we decided, let's talk about refunds again. Our favorite topic ever.
Here's the thing. Heather, you've heard it many times. She's like, Corey's obsessed with her form. The reason why I'm obsessed with the form is because it was made because of everything I've done wrong in the past. Mm-hmm. So all my mistakes
is in that form. It's a never-ending form.
I know. There's a lot of mistakes I've made. So a couple months ago, a customer had placed an order through email. She bypassed my form. I did not say, hey, I'm going to need you to fill out this form. I ended up
so
just
you see that. And Corey said, I'm taking fault. I did not redirect her back to my form. So again, we're finding fault. Although you can easily say, just as easy as Corey didn't send her the form, she bypassed the form herself. Right. Okay. And that's what we typically see with this. She said issue is because there's the ability to push the onus, the fault on the customer, which is also fair.
Right.
But there's the same opportunity to put the onus, the fault back on the baker, which is also fair.
Yeah. To me, if you can trace it back to whose fault was it first, that's where the problem was. Like, I didn't take her order via the form. The first fault was mine because everything that came after that can be brought back to that one specific instance.
Well, I'll counter that. So what if what if she was the first mistake? So what? Does it even matter who the first mistake was?
At the end of the day, it does to her.
To her only.
To her
But a lot of bakers would be like, well, I had a part in this. I wasn't the primary and I wasn't the first fault in this, which you could have said, well, you bypassed my form.
Right.
So then I'm not the wrongdoer. Mostly, I'm not 100% at fault. So I'm going to go for the 0% at fault. Mm-hmm. So go on with your story.
The backstory is a few months ago, she placed an order. We had nailed down her designs. Because she didn't fill out the form, there was no photos included. So
that's the biggest issue right there is there's no photos.
Right. That's what it came back to. So the way she said, I would like a pill-shaped cookie, parentheses, because my dad was a doctor. This is how she described to each cookie that she wanted in the set.
I wanted a football because my dad liked football.
Yeah. There's always a parentheses explaining why this random set of cookies is what she wanted.
Makes sense.
A week before the pickup, she changes it to 3 designs only: a pill, a football, and a baseball. The way she describes it was the way she described the first ones months ago.
He likes this, he likes that, and he likes the other.
Doctor, football, parentheses, he's a New York Giants fan. Baseball, he's a New York Yankees fan.
Okay. So and you can see right there, Corey saying that it got a little bit more specific.
It was more specific.
But never with an indication as to why.
Exactly.
So
a 1 week out, I said, okay, I have you down for 1 pill-shaped cookie, 1 football-shaped cookie, and 1 baseball-shaped
She didn't order 3 cookies.
Huh?
She didn't order just 3 cookies.
She changed it to just 3 designs, 3 dozen, a dozen of each.
A dozen of each.
Yeah. So I said 3 dozen, here's the 3 cookies. Okay. You know, nowhere did I say there was going to be a logo on there, because nowhere in my mind did she order any cookies with logos on it. The form would have fixed all of this, because in the form it says, explain in detail what you want the cookies to look like and include a photo. So it comes down to the day before pickup, I sent her that photo that I show exactly what it looks like. And she emails back a few things is what the email started off with. I was already burnt out from the week of orders regardless. I had a cake pop order, that just ages me 52 years. She's like, I was expecting each football and baseball to have the corresponding logos on it. Sends me the logos. I'm like, oh, she's expecting a miracle.
Live up to that last name, girl.
At the end of the day, though, there was not enough time to put logos on 24 cookies and have them dry in time for the party that she was picking up for. So I said, hey, I'm going to try to make this right. There's no way that I can do 24 cookies with logos. What's a number that's around 2 or 3 that I can? She's like, if you do 4 logos on the footballs, 4 on the baseballs. So I can tell this was important for the party to have these logos on it. Right. Okay. At the end of the day, the way she explained it, I could put onus on her.
Like, you were not specific. You have a million reasons to come back to her and say, how would I have known? Look, please, lady, read your messages. How would I have known there was supposed to be a logo when there's not a logo? Is there logos on baseballs? I never even touched one.
There's not a logo on a baseball.
So how would you infer that the logo, when it was only, there's a million ways you can come at her and put her at fault.
So here's the thing. She does not need a lesson on how she describes something incorrectly. She needs logos on balls. So I said, I'm on it. I'll get you the 8 cookies with the logos on it. The rest will not have any logos on it. I said, I am so sorry. And to make up for this, because I have...
Brace your panties, ladies. Brace your panties.
Party.
This is what's coming. The refund.
I said, these cookies are on the house. Plus, you'll get the 8 logoed cookies. I'm so sorry.
But it wasn't your fault, Corey. It was her fault for not being prolific.
Okay. I'm number one person who doesn't like to work for free. I'm annoyed. This whole situation is so annoying to me, but I've not said anything to her about it. I had a bad attitude when I was piping the logos. I had a bad attitude when I was boxing.
A bad attitude? No way.
Okay, so she comes the next day. First, so I said, this order's free. I'm so sorry. I said, I'm just trying to make so your party isn't totally ruined.
I want everyone also to notice right there, we have a second policy violation by not getting payment ahead of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because she was a late lady. Okay, so she says, Corey, absolutely not. We'll speak about it tomorrow. I did feel like I was being in trouble, like I was in a little kid's grade. Okay. We'll speak about it tomorrow. So I dreaded it the whole night. But I said, at the end of the day, I feel so much better that I offered it for free. Because
her worst case scenario is she has a bunch of pretty close to accurate cookies, right?
At the end of the day, you're going to be full because you ate the cookies. You have 8 with the logos that you needed on them.
Yeah. Here's my pitch. And then Corey will tell you how this ends up, because it ends up with the kind of point we're trying to make. The hell that you live in, the purgatory that you live in between a client being unhappy and the resolution is so stressful to a baker. In my perspective, Botox is $600 a round, right? The refund's cookie, $100 maybe, right? It's cheaper to buy your piece back than to live in that agony, wondering how much of the refund they're going to ask. Because Corey was like, it's a full refund. She was almost released. And this became a gift.
Even though the order was $300, it honestly would have been more if there was logos, because those are more expensive. If anything, I felt like a weight had been lifted and I could go on for the rest of the day knowing I had done everything, absolutely everything I could to make this right.
And that's the part of I'm losing the ingredients cost or my indirect cost or my profit. But your piece, if we could put money on the piece you buy back from being able to say, it's on me, my apologies.
A thing full of sugar is about $2 to $3. A bad review on my Facebook page for the rest of eternity, thousands of dollars. Yeah. You got to weigh out. I know the ingredients cost to eat that is annoying. It's horrendous. The work behind making those cookies, I hated every second of it. She ends up coming to the house. I invite her in. The house is clean. I got Christmas music playing, and I said, I have got to apologize. I am so sorry that I ruined this event for you. I said, please just take these cookies. I ended up making
bakers' ears are on fire saying you didn't ruin the event. She's gotten 3 dozen pretty darn close enough cookies.
Right.
But go on.
So she says to me, I went back to her conversation. I just don't know where the conversation went off.
Oh, she was going back.
Yeah. And I want to tell you, in that moment, it was, even though it was a second long, it felt like 10 years because I so wanted to be like, the way you described it. And I said to myself, she'll have to defend herself.
She'll have to, because she's not going to say she's wrong, right? Mm-hmm. She's going to say, well, that's how I would have explained it. Because she explained it how she would have explained it. She's like,
well, I mean, she could have been like, well, if you had a form, I would have filled it out.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it came back to me not following my own policies that put us in the situation anyways.
But Corey has the option right here. The crux of it is Corey has the option to say to the lady, you didn't follow my policies and I didn't force you to, so it's your fault, or you didn't follow my policies and it's my fault. And let me be at fault here.
We so want to get our point across because no one wants to be wrong. I don't want to be like, lady,
because being wrong in a bakery costs you money. Not only is it the shame and embarrassment, it's literally food off your table.
And then even though I was offering it free, I still want to be like, lady, the way that you explain this, I really, truly wanted to be like, here's where my mind was at.
And I want to be like, bakers, think right here. Do you think that client's going to be like, you know what? I do write real weird. I've always had, for the 58 years I've walked around, people hadn't had a clue what I've been saying.
Right. So I took that moment, I took a breath, and I said, you know what? I said, I have a form and I didn't send it to you. And I said, that was my fault. She's like, oh gosh, I didn't fill out your form. I said, there was no form for you to fill out. I didn't send it to you. I said, it was my fault.
Do you see what happens when Corey says, it's actually not your fault at all? Although we all in the room standing there knew there was a portion of that that was untrue.
Yeah, you could see. You're not going to be like, oh, Corey, you idiot. Yeah, you're going to say.
We all know there's a little bit of wrong on both sides.
Yeah.
However, Corey says, it was my fault I didn't even send it to you. I'd almost suspect that lady probably went to the form and saw it was booked and then went around it.
Probably.
Right. Okay. But either way, Corey's like, that doesn't matter. It doesn't solve the problem of what her expectations were. Right or wrong, if she communicated, they were not met.
At the end of the day, here's the thing, and that's what I see most companies mess up on. You've done everything right in this refund process. And then you're given this little chance to explain, to prove yourself. You're going to lose all that hard work. The cookies you're
already out
free,
the money. Now just stick the landing.
Right.
We have nothing to lose by being the giantest person.
To take the 100% fault because you're already out the money. So now my ego is no longer involved in this thing at all.
Once ego exits, the power is
gone.
yours.
I was putting them in the box. So she was like, Corey, oh my goodness, you can't work for free. And I said, I'm going to tell you something, Lori. I said, your happiness is priceless to me.
And if a business said this to me, I'd cry.
I said, your happiness is priceless to me. So if you think about it, I'm making the most. And she said, Corey, the cookies would have been over $300. There's no way I can't at least pay half.
Now you see that the client has gone fighting. Instead of Corey against Lori, which is funny that they run. It's now Corey and Lori against Corey's 100% guaranteed satisfaction refund policy.
Right. So I said, Lori, you crazy little lady. I said, I cannot accept $1 over $120. I went from $0 that morning
to the lady trying to force feed Corey $150. Corey would have none of it.
But I'm leaving now with $120. And this is what she left me with.
This is the kicker right here.
She said, Corey, I just don't want there to be anything between us. I want to come back and I don't want you to be afraid to take my order in the future.
Bam, right there. Because Corey became the defender of the client felt protected.
It was me and the client against the business.
When you can make your clients feel safe and secure, they will never leave you.
Absolutely.
Nor forsake you, because so many bakers, and we get to see that in this little slice of the industry we get in this Facebook group. So many bakers are so quick to defend themselves, and it feels right because you were not
technically completely wrong. And I can so empathize with you because that is how I wanted to every single second when she emailed, when she talked to me in person, I want to be like, Lori, let me get your little bride right there. But I said, at the end of the day, I'm not winning if I make her feel dumb, not listened to, neglected, that she can't write coherently. That's not what Lori wants here.
No.
And if I want Lori's future businesses, her friend's business, her parents' business, I've got to make Lori feel like she's right.
Because when a business does me wrong, there would be no way in good conscience I could recommend them to somebody else. Even if I like the product, when I'm not safe, I can't put my name on a referral. Because if it goes wrong for them, then I'm culpable. Yeah. In Virginia, we are an not at fault state. Meaning, if you get in a car accident, you can prove that you're not completely at fault. It pits the drivers who had this accident against each other in the worst way.
They'll be like, anyone witness this at 2:45?
I got a vendor. So in Virginia, if you can prove you're not at fault, you get to pay less of your insurance premium. And then it pegs to the other driver. I dated this guy in Michigan, and I had mentioned something about it. And he was like, oh, we're an at-fault state. I said, never heard of it. And he was like, yeah, if you're in an accident, regardless of who you hit, you are pay for yourself 100%. And they pay for themselves. There's no, it doesn't matter what happens. You don't even care about the other driver. Wild. You just go and handle your own problems on your own, right? I think a lot of bakers are like not at fault states. They're like, I'm going to prove to the client that you're actually culpable in this 70%. So thus I'm only giving you X amount of refunds.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, your customer is at fault. You're at fault too. We're both at fault. So who is going to take the brunt of this insurance claim?
I think it should be the baker. Here's an example, and I get to pull the examples from the groups because we get to run them.
Right.
A baker said, I made just the best cake. It was delicious. It was delectable. It was moist. It was all the things you want a cake to be. There was an edible topper on it, and the edible topper tore.
Yes.
Right. But the cake was still amazing. Oh. And that's in large part what you actually ordered, a cake to eat and serve to people. But she was like, well, I'm only going to refund the torn paper, the thing on the top.
Yes.
What do you call those?
Wafer paper.
Wafer paper. Yeah, and she was like, because I provided what they wanted. 99% of what they wanted, the cake was provided, and they were able to serve it. Yes, there was a tear in the design. However, they got what they were able to eat it. Yeah. It didn't affect the cake at all. So I don't feel like I owe them anything. And I said, well, you don't have to. At the end of the day, you can tell them, go kick rocks. You don't owe them anything. Mm-hmm. But I want you to prepare yourself because the next post you make here is going to be, I got a bad review. How should I respond?
Right.
Because you did not protect the client. Everyone else there is at the end of the day, the design is kind of what they paid for. So it's all subjective.
It is.
Being an at-fault baker removes the energy from your client. Because they can't squeeze blood from a turnip. If you refund the whole thing.
Then they're like, then we were fighting on how much money I should get.
Because at no point did Corey become defiant and try to prove culpability of the other party in the accident, right? So there was a cookie accident. We had two different versions of the story. The policy police showed up and said, you two, let me get written statements. And instead of Corey saying, well, she did this and she did that, Corey said, here's my role in it. And in fact, I'm going to take 100% responsibility here. And then the baker's begging for that next order because once you feel safe in the buying process, and baker's we always take it back to Target, right? Mm-hmm. When you buy something online, I always check the refund policy. And if it has no refunds, I don't buy from them.
Yeah.
I need the safety. Ask me the last time I returned something. It was like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm 36. Right. I haven't returned something in my last life. Uh-huh. I hate returning things.
Yeah.
But if there is no availability to return things, I feel very unprotected.
Yeah. We come back to, remember the shoes where my toe broke through the top?
They
had a guarantee on the shoe. And I was like, well, there's no way they're going to give me the shoe. It was going to be the last time I ever bought On Clouds.
Yeah. Because your toe.
Do you know what I've been wearing ever since they gave that
pair of shoes?
I have so many On Clouds now because they stood behind their product. It was a very expensive product.
$150 on Cloud 8. And you may call them a big conglomerate and they don't need and $150 is nothing. And we're just small bakers. The ratio is the same though. Mm-hmm. Every order you take, if you refund one order to protect the future 10 orders, that's the problem is we can't see into the future. We don't know if that client will come back, but we have to assume that when you make a mistake, even if you are not fully at fault, you take 100% culpability. I can guarantee your bakers you're competing against aren't doing that.
Yeah.
And your clients are going to love you.
Here's a case in point that's something that's going viral on TikTok right now.
Pajamas. The Pajama Gang.
Pajama.
TikTok never misses.
So the thing is, these two influencers are selling these cute Christmas pajamas. A lady goes to buy them. She's like, I will give you an honest review on what I think about them. These two influencers, someone says, I think someone's going to lambaste your business. They cancel her order. Mm-hmm. They canceled her order. But guess how many followers she had? 5 million.
I saw that.
So now this company is going under because they have done one single customer wrong.
Yeah.
And they double down. The customer had to double down.
Right. Because the pajama drama ladies, they did not, I watch people now doing satire of their apology video, and it was really double-edged, right? Like, I'm so sorry you guys are broke.
Yeah. So here's the thing. That Lori...
the satire video, and I can't shake it. She starts with, hey, brokies. going to be calling myself brokey.
Lori might not be anything on the internet. She might not be big in social circles. I might never get a referral from her for the rest of my life.
You may never get another Lori order.
I don't know who Lori is.
Right.
At the end of the day, Lori could be on the Chamber of Commerce. She could be in everyone's ears, the biggest real estate agent in the area. I don't know. But it's the gamble you have to take when you're like, I am going to fight for this bag of sugar.
If we had a little crystal ball and we would say, if I refund this order, I gain 10, the math problem, the business math problem would be a no-brainer. You're absolutely, you gain 9 more orders by refunding one. It's a guarantee.
Yeah.
Because we can't look into that future, suddenly the math is completely different. And we say, I'm going to fight for this order. I'm going to make the client get on their knees and beg.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I'll blacklist them after that.
Yeah.
But if you could just look into the future and see that this would be, and you don't realize it, one of the best clients you've ever had, you're about to lose that because you want to fight to blame the client who also, and this is the wild part, this is the hard part to swallow, who is also to blame.
Who is also to blame. And that's the hardest part. Well, you said, I've had some issues with customers. I've never heard anything back from them. I have a case in point for you where I was the consumer. I was the customer on this end.
What was the business?
The cleaning company.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. To our next point, I wanted to hire this cleaning company everyone was raving about because I didn't want to clean my son's bathroom.
Fair.
It's totally fair. It was long lost and neglected, right? So I said, I'm going to hire this lady because everyone seems to love her. This will be great. So she said, okay, you have to work with my schedule. Totally understand. It was randomly on a Thursday at 1:00.
That's still typical.
It was. And you know what? Was I going to be there at 1:00 on a Thursday? It was my coach.
You're just making a ton of noise.
Yeah, it's a
sit still.
So I'm there at 1 Thursday. This is just for her to give me the quote, not even necessarily to clean.
Remember, this is a lady that's so highly recommended. I know. I don't even live in Jersey area. This lady wouldn't service where I live, and I still know who she is.
Yeah, so I was like, wow, this will be an absolute treat. She's going to clean up 50 years of grime or something. So 1:00 comes, it's probably 12:45. I'm like, she should be close. Like I'm sitting by the door. Can I tell
you that time moves differently when you're expecting somebody to show up for something? I don't know. When I was on a call the other day and the guy was a minute late for showing up and I was like, wow, 10 hours have passed since we started this Zoom.
Okay, so it's 1:00 and no one's at the house. I get a text message. Sorry, we're running behind. These first few cleanings have taken longer.
So running behind was sent after the appointment was supposed to start.
Yeah. Right. I was like, oh, no, that's okay. I'm very passive.
At the end of the day, the clients are going to be like, well, I'm still there.
At the end of the day, you can't just boop over here. Right, like you're cleaning someone else's house. So I was like, okay, what time would you think? She said, I'll be there at 2:00.
An hour later.
Fine,
okay.
I'm annoyed. But whatever. Okay. I'm here at the house anyways.
Here's the problem. You're annoyed, but if the cleaning goes so well, you'll be okay.
Oh, then you could.
That's the thought.
Clean
the client.
Annoying
this
way.
Is why when clients' expectations are met, it's such a bigger fall because it's a fall from an expectation, not from reality.
Yeah, like I've hyped myself up that this is going to be the cleanest.
I mean, I've seen the post about it. I would hype myself up too.
Okay, so it gets to about 1:45. Okay, now I'm the second where I'm sitting by the door.
You're at the second 12:45. Now you're at 1:45. The same thing is happening.
Yeah, so now I've wasted about 2 hours of my life, right? So she sends me another text. Hello, madame. It's like, hello. She said, yes. I'm going to have to cancel and move it to tomorrow. Today is just taking too long. I said, babe, I rearranged my
Did you say that?
I said, I'm so sorry. I put my yesterday, everything that was supposed to happen today onto tomorrow so that you could come to today. So I will not be able to do tomorrow. She said, oh, sorry, madame. That was how it left.
Stop adding the madame.
It was wild.
But okay, you see it right here. The cleaning lady should have said, oh my goodness, I am mortified. I can't believe I'd hate this done to me, let alone me doing it to you. You know what? I'll schedule you whenever you're free again. It's on me. Could you imagine the thoughts?
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine the good review Corey would have had, even if she hadn't, even if the lady was just moderately good?
Yeah.
But having that AtFault Cult following of saying, if it goes wrong, I'll make it right so hard.
Yeah. Little does this cleaning company know, I have a group of 4,000 people who are her ideal audience that I've cultivated, and I was going to give her this raving review if she would have come over. And you know what? While I didn't lambaste her, I go out of my way to recommend someone else over her.
And it's the good person's way of being bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you don't hear about the client that you had an issue with ever again.
It's not that they are fine. It's that they secretly hold resentment.
Yeah.
And instead, you may not get that bad review. So you're like, it was fine. They didn't deserve a refund. Clearly, they never asked for one. They've just never, ever, ever ordered from me again. And they only recommend anybody else.
Yeah.
That is a form of a bad review, and it's still costing you money. While it's more indirect than the 1 star, here's everything you need to know, it is costing you money because you would not take fault when you had the ability to turn a client into a lifelong fan.
I know. So you don't know what's at the end of there. The cleaning company didn't know I have a great group that I could have recommended her in. I could have been a nobody. You don't know at the end of the day, but you don't know, am I the crazy client who haunts your business for the next 10 years?
Somebody may be just a person who really likes to write bad reviews and never writes good reviews.
I know.
You know, I can kind of see the type of baker, the type of company when they get the bad review and the response is still, well, you did this and you did this. And it's like, wow, if I have an issue with this company, note to self, I'll never get any recourse.
Yeah. So the bad review's done. The way now, your one last bastion is how you respond to this bad review, and you're still casting blame on them. It creates such an uncertainty with people who are willing to take a gamble on you. And with small bakery businesses that we're coming and going, we're turning our sales on, we're turning our sales off. They're all gambling on us.
And every one of a client, when your business is so small, when your business is 1 people, 2 people, every client has a huge impact. Now, Target, okay, one person gets upset their Starbies weren't made the right way. They are working an economy of scale where that person's so not impactful. Yes. Their bad review joined the 50 other bad reviews. Now, for a small business bakery, this is a huge problem.
It is.
Just the one unhappy client. Yeah. So I gotta call myself out on it. We do the cookie class kits, right? It's everything you need to teach a cookie class. It's all the curriculum. You just buy the cutters, you bake the dough, you teach the class, right? And we have a lot of resources in it to make sure that this class is as smooth as possible.
The bad thing about it is there's a few hands in the pot here.
A few hands in the pot, and I'll take full culpability on this. While there are 2 places to learn which colors you need, one of the places had 1 typo. It had the color gold because I didn't remember to replace it from the class before because I used the same template right over it, and it needed to have been white. God bless this cookie college roomie who went and followed exactly that spreadsheet and did gold instead of white.
So she put 100% trust in Heather.
100% trust, and did not catch it until she got to her class to teach it. And I was mortified. Here's what I could say. Well, there's more. Could you not have looked at the photo?
Did you not look at the photo?
Could you not have seen the shop list and seen that it was actually right there? And while, yes, there was a small typo in the spreadsheet, if you had just... At the end of the day, I said, I am mortified.
Yeah.
I am so sorry that you have to stand in front of a group of people and tell them that their wishbone's going to be gold. The only benefit is that some people thought the wishbone looked like a toilet seat. So I said, at least you won't have people wondering if it's a toilet seat.
Golden dollar.
Whatever.
Which honestly goes with the
maybe your cleaning lady could clean that too. So, of course, she was so gracious and said, it's funny. It'll be a funny story. I said, let me at least cover a couple of your memberships payments. So... But I got to say, that was fully on me.
But at the end of the day, if Heather wanted to, you saw that the whipped cream is white or the eyes are white. Oh, the turkey.
There's a whipped cream that's got gold on it.
And the turkey's eyes are white.
Oh, I knew the turkey's eyes were going to be gold.
Now they'd be golden.
So, and I could say, well, it's not, or I'll do a partial refund. But there was, at the end of the day, oh my goodness, let me make you whole twice, because that is my fault.
And at the end of the day, she still got to stand up in front of her clients and be like, we're doing gold eyes.
I hope they took it well.
Lori has to say only half the balls have logos.
Corey, you have an example here. Elf, I don't know.
I don't know which group. This was years ago. I can't remember what group it happened in. I almost think, was it local? Here's the thing. Elf on the Shelf.
Tiny. Okay, if you guys don't know, I don't have kids. I didn't know what this whole thing was until I started in these groups. Elf on the Shelf is this little miniature elf stuffed animal. It's patented. Like, he's copyrighted.
His name is Scout.
Gout?
Scout.
Oh, is it Gout?
He's a scouter.
Scout. Okay, this little elf.
Gout. Yeah. Too much fish.
This little elf. The point is, he's kind of like a weird advent calendar of mischief for children.
He's a menace to society because he's reporting back to Santa each night till Christmas. It's to get your kids to be good for at least 24 days.
But doesn't he get into messes?
He tries to do bad things to blame it on the children.
Oh, I had
So he's doing
clue.
something mischievous every single night. You have to plan something new
So
for
the
him to do
kids
bad.
pop up every morning and they try to find Scout and what mess he's caused overnight.
And
what
then
happened?
on Christmas Eve, he goes back, tells Santa your kid was good. He never comes back for the whole year.
So you have to do 24 days of Scout?
Yeah, honestly, on the internet, when I was researching him, he can appear the day after Thanksgiving or December 1st.
Cash grab.
Yeah, it was
the Scout parent company.
So Elf on the Shelf, he is a little toy. He's super tiny. So people were doing, hey, these cake pop people had the bright idea. Let's make mini cake pops for Mr. Scout.
Cute idea.
A cute idea. This photo staging was so stinking adorable.
Because I think almost it's Scout with cake pops.
Scout,
like a tray
and he's got
right?
like a cake pops tray next to him. Here's the thing. Scout's no bigger than 12 inches. The cake pop in relation to Scout is on a toothpick. But when we think cake pops, you think of like a 10-inch stick with a ball at the end. Okay, this lady, I cannot remember. If this was you, I feel bad for you because you weren't wrong. She takes a picture, sells a bunch of these little tiny cake pop things.
Because you're selling it to people who have a Scout
who
and
have
they're
a
staging
Scout.
him.
Scout's sitting next to these
Of course, it's
cake
also a
pops.
great deal because everything's so tiny.
So you're not going to get filled off of these Scout cake pops. They're literally like...
It's more of a prop.
It's funny.
A cake
is what
prop.
It is. So this lady says, I'm very disappointed. These cake pops are inedible. They're tiny.
So she thought she was ordering large cake pops.
Yeah, but the baker's like, here's the thing. Like, if you have two eyeballs, you'll realize, like, Scout's sitting next to these teeny tiny
Scout for scale.
And this lady's mad because, but like, you'd have to be like, lady, the cake pop is not as big as Scout, so they're gonna be tiny. Scouts.
Okay, here's what I want to say. If you tell the lady that she's blind and she'd have to be an idiot to realize that the cake, that the Scout's not a 12-footer.
The baker has every right to be like, 25 people bought this and did not have an issue, except for you're the one who didn't look at the picture. Here, it comes back to, in your pre-sale description, did you have...
Doesn't matter though. Again, I'm going
Right.
to wait. It does not matter if you had the Declaration of Independence signed in your description. If the client is unhappy, what are your options? And your options could be, I'm a not at fault state or I'm an at fault state. And to be the not at fault state to somebody who's already upset, it's just, you're just asking for a full-on war.
Yeah, I granted the comment section was obviously inside, like, for the baker.
I'm interested even in the comment section. I'm for the baker.
Yeah.
But what does, and that's why I say the comment section was like, no, it's a complete answer. Run. Like, the baker can't write that to the client.
Yeah.
So
it came down to what she thought the value, the cost of these tiny cake pops. She thought the price was so high, they had to be real size. Okay, well, it came down to, like, you having this tiny little packaging for these mini little pops. Like, I'm sure the packaging alone was expensive. So it came down to more than it was just like, are you an idiot? Are your eyes not open? That she felt she was swindled a little bit with the pricing behind it. So, like, if we dig a little bit deeper, it's not always the first thing they say that's going to make the sense.
yes.
We dug deeper and it came down to, she felt like she overpaid, the quality wasn't there.
Initially it was like, you didn't advertise correctly, and now I feel like you're overpriced.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If you keep digging, if you choose to keep digging, the reasons will end up with our next point, the ant plant.
Okay, we've talked about Mr. Ant.
This is my favorite story because it's the wildest concept of this taken the furthest way. It was a story, I think it was a group, the year we started, 2020. And I called it the ant plant. It was a macaron order.
No, it was a sugar cookie
order.
And it was, someone was posting anonymously for this baker because she was so embarrassed. Here's the thing. She had already spent the money for the order. So the money meant so much more now because it wasn't there to refund.
And that's why I always say Corey keeps her payments in a holding pattern until the client has fully taken off.
Yeah, I don't want
Then
that
she'll
to
deposit
be my
it.
money until we know
Don't
it's my
spend
money.
the money until the client's like, I love these. So anyways, the client pays the baker. The baker makes the order, but then the baker like literally pays her electricity bill. So the money is gone, and there's no margin to refund this client. The client says, "Well, cookie, there's an ant in it."
Client says,
There's
no photo in it yet. The client just says, hey, there was a ant in one of the cookies. Of course, the baker, mortified, having to defend herself. There's no way there could be an ant in these cookies. I just made them. They're fresh. You know, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now you have...
Now I've got a defense. Now you're calling me a liar. Before we had a small issue. Now you're questioning my moral code of ethics.
She gets a response photo.
It's a photo.
It's a photo of an ant.
Dude, this ant's legs were crumpled. This ant had been baked.
Okay, but then the baker was like, I think it's been planted.
The ant plant. She thought that they sourced him ant, murdered him, shoved him into the cracker.
Shoved his full body.
Crumpled his legs. He was flattened from what I remember the picture being.
To me, he looked like, I'm having a mental image right now.
I have a mental image.
Held like
this. To me, the ant.
There's a piece of gluten holding
The ant had spent an entire vacation in this cookie. So then, by the time it reaches the sugar cookie marketing, the sugar cookie ant group, the damage had been done.
Right.
There's nothing we would have done. Unplant the ant, plant 2 ants. I don't know.
Like, listen, the comment section was horrendous. We had to end up deleting the post because people were blaming the clients. It looks planted.
And someone's like, it looks baked. But at the end of the day, what happened was now instead of an upset client, there's an irate client.
Yeah. With
a picture of an ant and a cookie that has the internet at their fingertips.
Yeah. They're already on their messaging.
I know right now. People are saying, well, you guys you're training clients to get things over in bakers. No, because you know what? I did you one better. I did the research. Last week I said, how many orders did you refund in 2024 that were not due to sickness? 87% were 0 or less than 1.
Yeah.
So the overwhelming majority of your clients, they just want to be made whole. They just wanted the cookies.
Yeah. I think people have this shamefulness around refunds.
Well, and make a mistake.
It's not shameful.
No.
It's almost like I want to be like, look at me. I refund people who are not happy.
Yeah, if we can take off the cone of shame and replace it with the cone of a stellar business ability to handle issues.
Yeah.
You guys will see that refunding is actually a gold star.
Yes. And it's because we've so like, if you're wrong, you're the worst. If you admit fault, people can hold it against you.
The client's lawyers, they're trying to get one over. They're not going to give them the full refund because they don't deserve it. They still got their cookies.
Yeah. And then we'll, as bakers, turn around and be like, why are people buying from Walmart and Target, these big shops, instead of investing in small business? Target takes back the cookies.
Yes.
They don't care.
Target said, why didn't you like it? Well, I don't know.
I got these gummies, little gummy bears, and they tasted horrendously. So when I went to return from Target,
ones, that was your own fault.
Or to help your brain to
be
smarter.
It had a little vitamin.
Yeah. So I took it up to the guy and he was like, can I ask why you're returning this? I said, I'm going to be honest. If it's eat these or be dumb, I'd rather be dumb. They tasted disgusting. He's like, that's hilarious. I'm taking it back.
Right.
But
imagine he's like, well, maybe you're just an idiot. Yeah. And Corey's got to defend. Well, I guess so. But
how about you try another one? I'm going to try one and see if I like. Sir,
you regurgitate the one you ate and then I'll give you the refund. And that's what some of you guys' refund policy sounds like, because you're so worried someone taking advantage of you that you don't realize that you're actually taking advantage of them.
Yeah. So then we blame the clients for not investing in small business, but we're the ones who are making them fight tooth and nail to support us.
You know, Small Business Saturday is coming up and you always get those guilty posts that says, shop small because Target doesn't need his children don't need food, we do. You know, all those ones that kind of guilt you into shopping small. But then to say shop small and create a hostage situation with people's money is the most unheard of trade in the history of the planet of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you can run your business into the ground however you want to.
We have 2 more examples.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I take that back. Go ahead. What's the next one?
I made a typo and it kind of made less than stellar word in a client issue that we had. So a client said, and so if you want to turn this down, if you have kids in the car, it's not the most egregious word, but it's also not PG-13 word, right? Okay, so do you mean me? I'm still here? Okay, then you want to hear it. So they're like, yeah, I'd love to hear how you messed up. This is the funniest mess up. Other side than Crapicone. That was my second funniest mess up. So this client says, we want this flyer. They had a home show and they wanted it front and back. It had a lot of details to it.
Yes.
And it went through it's like one of those clients who's like, this is great. Let me send it to everybody in the office.
What's the craziest thing about proofs is when I have to sit down to read a proof, it's like, I hate reading, but put social media in front of me and I'll read for 52 hours.
If it's printed on something and I got to review it, all the words
honestly, the words become like blurred.
So I made this flyer. It was a good flyer. It was mostly pictures, but at the bottom on the back that nobody would ever be reading was their address. That was something they added in the last second. Didn't even go to print. I got it, sent it back. They approved it. They approved it 3 times and then it went to print. Everybody loved it. At the home show, they passed it out. I stopped by the home show, and this one of their eccentric employees says, why on the back does it say homemaker? Homemaker. It was Hornbaker, and there was a typo, it became Horror Baker.
Here's the
And what they had already handed them out to people. That stuff was already in circulation.
Here's the thing. It could come back to
You
approved
approved
it 3 different times. You sent it throughout everyone, but who typed it wrong?
I did.
Heather did.
It's all right here.
So all we could do was, oh my goodness, can we refund you for that and pay for the new lot? Granted,
Right.
they thought it was funny. They're like, let's get rid of these guys.
Right.
Not these guys. The correct cards. I'm sure we followed suit after.
The amount of sweat I sweated in that moment, I'll never get that. I'll never get that back. But it was my mistake. Yes, they approved it.
Yeah.
And you always have that. Well, you approved it. Yeah, but I don't. I want to be an at-fault state.
Yeah.
It was my mistake that I didn't check it that 4th and 5th and 6th time. And although client, yes, you did sign off on this, and this is your fault. Your money to me in the long term, I hope you don't fire me for this, but your money to me, your recurring is so much more valuable. Our relationship is more valuable. Let me eat the cost on this.
The reason why me and Heather are throwing ourselves under the bus expeditiously in this one is to tell you humans are behind the buses of all these businesses.
We're mistake humans walking through a landmine field of mistakes.
Absolutely. So if a lot of times on social media, people present the perfect part of themselves.
Sure. I'm not going to say, hey guys, I typed horror baker.
Yeah. So you never see people that are messing up, and how
how you see when people are messing up?
When it
because
goes quiet.
when they end up not taking fault and they blame the client takes it on their own steam to leave these bad reviews, to drag somebody. And I always tell people, like, you'd be lucky if it's just a bad review. If they take this to a community group where everyone's judged or an executioner in 2 seconds, you're fighting a battle I don't think I could save you from.
Me and Heather, we love pulling up popcorn. I'll send a thread that's going to poo-poo in a handbasket to her so she can catch it before somebody deletes it.
Yeah, of course, like new foodies right now. Get there. Sort by hot and heavy. Sort by flaming dumpster. It's taking that. You have this other one. It's called Heartbreaker. I don't know what you meant.
Oh, here's another one where I messed up. I mess up a lot. I'm just not posting it all the time. And Kim had written us a very nice letter. She's like, it's nice to see that you two are idiots.
Yeah, thanks for giving me that letter 2 months after she sent it.
Yeah, you know what? It was so funny. It was under all of these trades that they had given us. So I found it while I was going through the trades last night. There was like this card and it says not for resale. I said, what could possibly, it's a picture of Heather. It's hilarious. Last but not least, one time I messed up. I had done these conversation hearts, which were great for the first day of school. There were hearts. I let the clients choose what the words they went on. That was my issue. Me and Heather were at a cookie class and I got a message from one of the people saying, hey, can I pick it up? We were busy teaching. I shouldn't have been on my phone. I should have given the customer that was messaging me appropriate amount of time and attention. And I said, oh yeah, you can come and pick it up. No, she was actually in the second lot that needed to pick up the second day. I thought she was just early for the first day.
Oh, so she shows up for the first. She's saying, can I switch the lot?
Yeah.
My pickup day. You're thinking she's out in the parking lot.
I'm like,
I don't
there's no
have time
way
to
that
check.
she's switching her whole day. No, she was switching her whole day. And I had told her, go ahead. Yeah, they'll be there for you to pick up. Of course, my mom was the one handing them out because we were at cookie class.
Yes,
and she's like, there's literally nothing with your name on it. So not only I had wasted so many people's time. So the only thing I could have done was I refunded it, made the order, and hand delivered it to her to make up for her whole drive.
But what Corey could have said is, you should. That there was a reason you were on the second day for you to switch that.
Why would
That's
you
your fault,
asked? Right?
Yeah.
So
what's the point of that? What? And has she ever ordered from you? Probably not.
I can't remember. That was back when I was doing Fairfax orders. So moves.
So no. But it's just being okay with being imperfect and understanding that the true business prowess is a person who can handle being imperfect and doesn't shy away from it.
Here's the thing. Put yourself in the customer's shoes. If you ordered something for a party and it was not made correctly, are you going to be okay with it? Probably not. You're probably waiting for a response, what happened from the client. But it's so often that we lose sight of that when we become the person that's in the business seat, where we're like, no, I wasn't wrong. And at the end of the day, you probably weren't.
You probably weren't. You might not have even been a percentage wrong.
Yeah.
You may have been, this is fully on them, but I'm going to take the L here and I'm going to apologize.
Yeah. At the end of the day, do you have to refund 100% no. There's times where 100% refund doesn't make sense.
Corey and I will talk about it. And we're like, this is a different one. Like this poor baker, that doesn't feel 100% refundy, but still they need to make the client happy. There's a case by case basis on a lot of these. Yeah. But I think a lot more of them should fall in this fully at fault, even though I'm not at fault case.
The reason why you put your policies in place, the reason why in your terms and conditions for your cookie classes, they can't cancel the day before and get a refund is because you have nailed everything down and you're following your processes and procedures 100% so that when it comes to that point and you don't feel like it's justified for 100% refund, you have something to stand on. I did not have anything to stand on because I did not give her my form. And that comes back to me. If Heather didn't send 52 emails to our class people before class started, they would have a foot to stand on. Like, I didn't know the class was tomorrow. I thought I could cancel anytime. And it's taking that time to make sure that you on your end can look insightfully to you and take blame where blame is necessary and fix those holes in your business. And then stand by your policy and procedures. Old you made this for a reason. And new you does not want to discover what that reason was.
Rediscover.
But at the end of the day, we're all humans behind the bus. It's not if you make a mistake, it's when are you making this mistake, what will happen, because we're making mistakes 24/7.
I like when we have a lot of policies so customers don't make mistakes, but we can have policies so we don't make mistakes. And if we do, what's our policy?
Right.
And I think a lot of that, I would say if you could look at your 3 buckets of full refund, partial refund, and fight to the death, I think most of them should fall in the full refund. There are cases where a partial refund is more than fair, and I think the client can even agree with that. And then there's very few cases to prove the point when our businesses are so small and so much is at risk.
Yeah. When I started this whole baking thing, I told myself, you will be 100% money back guarantee baker.
But it frees your thoughts.
Every time I'm going to a hard set, a hard order, especially since I started doing cake pops and they're as finicky as the day is long, as I'm going through, I'm like, at the end of the day, I can give them 100% refund in the cookies.
Corey and I, every week we teach cookie classes. We will walk in and I'll be like, I don't know. Sometimes I like to play like, oh my goodness, if you got that thing, even though I'm just kidding, it's with you. But I'll be like, what if this scenario happens? But it always typically falls to just give them a refund.
Absolutely.
Sometimes if it's egregious, give them a refund and invite them to the next class for free.
Yeah.
They lose on 2 classes to save your reputation with these people who are paying you.
Yeah. The thing I always say, the only thing I'm taking with me into the grave is my name. So God forbid I don't protect that until the day is long. At the end of the day, your $100 is not my name. I'm going to stand behind it. So when you say the words Corey Miracle, it's not this grimace that forms on your face.
You don't want anyone doing the teeth breathe.
Oh, her.
Oh, I had this one time. I had this experience with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does go a long way. So consider that, because as we, I know we hound this refund, but everyone likes that. You guys run for the refund. Your bets.
Listen, I trip on my way over to it.
Corey trips over Horbaker Road.
But you have to realize I empathize with you. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. I'm not like, ooh, now I can sing a song. It releases me from the problem at hand, though, and I can protect my business. This is the only way I can protect it. Yeah. So I'm going to take the L and protect it if I can.
The funny thing is we came up with all these examples, and then we said, let's come up with the examples where a business went above and beyond we were like, it's not even your fault. No. And we couldn't really come up with it. The Chick-fil-A gave me the $5 gift card.
Yeah.
Once an apartment complex sold me an apartment that was already taken. So they gave me 2 months free, which might as well have been gold.
On Cloud
doing that. When you do it, it kind of, these stories that, that apartment story is 10 years old.
It is. But you've never been like, don't buy it from the apartment complex. Like I've never heard. And I will say, whenever someone's like, what shoes are you wearing? I'm like, On Cloud.
I fashioned these with my own hands. I love them so much. So you can really create those people who just sing your praises. And maybe it is Lori and maybe it's not Lori. But in the case of you being able to go to sleep at night, some cookie college lady was like, you know what? I get why did the twins say run to the refund. I made a mistake. It wasn't complete. She's like, I just refunded immediately and I just went to bed just thinking completely happy thoughts. Yeah. Like I wasn't worried that the next email the client's going to send is going to ruin my day.
Yeah. And I think that was the only way I was able to sleep with Lori. Because I was mad at myself.
About Lori.
Lori! She ended up sending me an email and said, kissy face, the cookies were a huge hit.
That's all you needed.
And I said, Lori, the lessons you have taught me. Logo Lori.
Lessons were learned thanks to Lori. Moving on. The Vendy Blendy has it is
The countdown is on.
I literally have a countdown going on
right now.
at 12.
No, it's less. It's 11.
At 12 p.m. the countdown goes live. We're doing it live. We're doing it live. So we have the countdown. We're in the final 2 weeks before the Vendy Blendy.
Hit the final countdown.
Even the countdown. We're doing it live. Okay, so the final countdown of the Vendy Blendy. It is next, not this Friday. This Friday is our birthday, right?
Yes.
Next Friday is Black Friday. It is November 29th. That is 24 hours of shopping deals and steals. And we have, unfortunately, I did the math with Amy last night, who's helping admin the group that day. Each Vendy, gets a guaranteed 3 posts. It'll be 2 image posts and 1 video or a live post. If they do a door prize, they get 2 additional posts. They get what the door prize is and how to enter it. And they also get the announcement.
Who gets to win.
Right. So every vendor, I think almost 90% of the vendies are doing door prizes.
Nice.
That puts them that's around 400 posts that day. And that doesn't include the door prize post I'll be posting as well.
Listen, that group will be piping hot.
And if you have a bad attitude and say you're overwhelmed, I want to tell you right now, you're overwhelmed by design.
Are you talking about me or are you talking about them?
All of them. Everyone, and especially you, honestly. I'm talking more to you. They're just here.
Here's the thing. The Vendy Blendy is designed to be overwhelming. It's 25% off for 24 hours from 80 some odd people.
If you only get the sheet, you're done. That is most of what it is.
Yeah,
the other stuff is just fun.
Just the icing on top. So at the end of the day, what you need to do is you go to the Vendys, VENDYS.com. That is a spreadsheet you need to see that has the vendors, their websites, and how much they're offering.
Which you guys will love to know because you're listening to the podcast. So you get to hear it first. Sugarloaf Mountain Designs upped their discount from 30%, which I always thought was aggressive because they only had to do 25%. And this is their first year to 35%.
You'll also be wanting to hear that Sweet Pink Olive texted me yesterday and said every order will get a free surprise in them.
Love these vendors this year. Different breed. I mean, a lot of them are from last year, but the vibe is vibier.
So here's the thing. What you want to do is go to the spreadsheet, get to your must-haves, and then your wants. So you're going to hit your musties, then you're going to hit your wanties. Okay. It's not going to be 84 shops you're buying from. First off, 81 shops you're buying from. I'm sure you're going to let someone in.
I'm really not. I have to draw on the line.
It's not going to be all shops that you're buying from, but there's going to be a lot of shops you want to hit first. They're not guaranteed to have everything in stock. They only need to have something in stock at the beginning of the day. They will run out.
They are not punished for selling out.
Right. So if you're like, I want to get the meringue powder, that's going to be first stop on your list.
Because that will probably sell out.
Yeah. If you are later on the day, I ran the numbers. I have about $25 I can throw around at the shop. You can now shop freely.
And the vendors throughout the day, those people, they'll be vying for that $25 by demonstrating some products that they think are worth it for you.
At the end of the day, if you have a budget, you're strict to it, you stick to it, that's great. You can help support the vendors and the people that you love to buy from during the year by coming and supporting them in the group that day.
Comment makes all the difference.
You guys know we talk about algorithms. What gets to the top of algorithms is engagement. So you might not be able to invest in them monetarily on Friday, but you'll be able to invest in them engagement-wise and help their posts get to more people.
Even a heart react.
Oh, absolutely.
Even a gift comment.
In the Vendy Blendy group, as we get closer, you're going to see that people are going to be wondering where can I get textured parchment sheets. In the Vendy Blendy group that day, Heather's going to have a Ask Where It Is thread.
In search of thread.
The
vendors are allowed to help you. The thing is, 81 websites is hard.
It is.
To sort through.
Yeah.
However, imagine that there's around almost 8,000 people also sorting through these websites for you. They're going to have eyes and ears on things you didn't know. In search of thread, you can say which vendor is running this. Now, this year, I've had the vendors, and my new requirement is that they must tell you who they are, website, discount code, and their shipping policies, right? And then within that spreadsheet will also have their shipping policies and their customer service.
I am going to put some pressure on you right now.
Why?
I want everyone to have the same code.
I'm really trying.
They need to.
I do this every year. And I say,
it's so easy.
I say, if you're getting this email, you're getting a little spank.
Yeah.
Because you are adding an extra step. Because if 90% of the people have the same code.
I can remember one code. I can memorize that.
But if you have like a variable code, somebody just
no.
created the code I recommended opposite. And I said,
crazy.
That was fine.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If you're a vendor listening to this, consumers memorizing one code is going to give me less frustration when I go to check out from your shop.
If you guys create friction and I have to go back to a Google spreadsheet on my phone, which is
I don't got that kind of time. I'm trying to buy.
I'll really try it, but if the vendors are allowed to set that themselves, if they choose to make it difficult on you, that is on them.
Yeah. There's a lot of shops carrying a lot of products of places that you love to buy from. So that's something to keep an eye out too.
Something to keep in mind. Wholesale exemptions. The shops, some shops are running full. Here's the thing, and why wholesaling is exempt. Shops last year, you guys wanted them, you begged for them. They were like, hey, we'd love to do this, but on wholesale, the contract negotiation, every product they sell, you lose money on.
Right.
So we'd rather have some of you than have none of you. Yeah. So there's a wholesale exemption. Now you'll be able to ask the vendors, hey, is this for sale? Like blah, blah, and they can help you there.
What I don't want to hear is I bought 5 cutters and a gel food coloring from the shop, and the gel food coloring wasn't discounted. So disappointed.
Don't do that. Not allowing any bad vibes this year.
No bad vibes.
No bad vibes. Only uppers.
You have been marketed to, strategized with, game planned on since June.
It's been a while. I checked yesterday. The group name went from null to Vendy Blendy in April.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You remember when you were like, it's happening? It's like, it's not.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's overwhelming. It's a good overwhelm. It's a hype day. You're going to get some stuff that you've truly wanted. You're going to miss out on some stuff you've also truly wanted. It's not filling up your Santa's sleigh fully and completely. It's getting the things you want, you need, so you have a great start to 2025.
And then maybe loiter for the rest of the day and see if there's anything that somebody can
Here's how I do.
Okay.
I go for my musties.
Okay.
Those are the first things. I'll stay up around midnight to get what I must have.
We should actually do this as the next podcast. The shop strategy.
Shop strategy? Okay.
Yeah.
So should I wait?
I don't know. Should you? That's a real big cliffhanger. I'd almost really want to know. So maybe I'd almost listen to the podcast next week.
So what? So
don't say it.
Don't say?
Tell them if they want to know it.
If you want to know what I do.
And Corey knows how this thing works because she's behind the scenes as well.
Listen,
I do not let her shop before you guys
She does not let me shop. But what I have done and I've been able to do is pre-shop all the vendors.
And you guys can do that too. It's actually a great strategy, especially if you're like, does anybody have this? You have that, the Vendies.com. That's a spreadsheet. Yeah. You can go through each one of those websites right now.
What I learned today, because I did the video yesterday for the Dessert Depot, US-based. She has a bunch of those green cutouts that we all like to collect.
Green cutouts. What are these?
Green cutters.
Kaleido-cuts.
They're on our website.
Is that wholesale?
I don't think it is wholesale. I don't know. It's on her list of 25% off.
That day, you're allowed to ask those vendors anything. Yeah. And they're allowed to answer. My spreadsheet will be pretty clean, pretty easy to follow because I'm not going to bog it down with extraneous information, but the vendors can clarify for you all day.
On their post, when they can go live, they can make 2 posts. That's a great time to ask them about things.
It's considered engagement as well. So
it is. And it's great. You can get the conversation going. You'll have vendors answering. You'll also have other consumers, buyers also answering, especially the ones that are like diehard fans of the shop that you're shopping at.
Yeah, they'll be able to help you. Yeah. But no bad vibes. No saying they didn't. I want to stress to you the amount of notifications these vendies will get is over the top, especially when they're running the door prizes. Yeah. Door prizes can't require purchase entry. You have to realize they can post anytime they want throughout the day. I give them some guidelines, but they can do whatever they want.
So their first post might be like showcasing something, but their second post, maybe an hour later, can be the door prize. You have to realize
can be the door prize.
The door prize post notifications are going to reign supreme in their notification box. So if they don't get back to you right away, that's okay. Retype the question. Just retype it, press enter. It'll hit you at the top of the notifications.
Absolutely.
That is a way to come back the next day. I think I was ignored by so-and-so. Listen, there's so many notifications. It's unreal.
I know. It's not going to be good on my phone. My notifications are already kind of fumbled right now.
And you've got to post every hour on the hour.
Yeah, not only are we vendies, but I'm also hosting the 10 big door prizes. I know you guys have been hearing us talk about the door prizes on here forever. Just to go, the Vendy teaches me one marketing lesson each year, and it's that algorithms do not show your content to people.
They don't.
So I unveiled this past week. Of course, I've been telling you guys for a month now, but I unveiled this last week, kind of like every hour on the hour. Obviously, I'm a fan of that. A new door prize. Of course, they were all 10 Bosch mixers. Yes. But people were like seeing unveiling number 1 and number 4 and then number 7.
Yeah. And
they were like, when's number 10 coming out? I'm like, that was 2 days ago, buddy. They're all Bosches.
Crazy. But that teaches you that notifications, posts, everything. But everything on that specific day is going to be insane.
Insane. Overwhelming by design. It's an upper vibe. Jump in, enter some door prizes. Worst case, you win.
Yeah. Listen, I'll be finding you guys over some boxes in there. I got my eyes on a few.
Some boxes or some boshes?
A little bit of both.
Yeah, so we're chugging along
Can
here.
I win a bosh?
Summer. Okay, so there's a couple. That's a great question. We should talk about this next week, but I'll just include it now. How the big door prizes work, these 10 Bosch mixers. The prompt goes at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the prompts will go up on the hour.
Okay.
Now, most of the prompts, I cannot guarantee all the comments will be open the whole day because eventually they get overwhelming and the thread becomes unmanageable.
Yeah.
So some of the prompts will close. I can guarantee you have an hour per prompt.
Yes.
That's what I can guarantee you. Some of them may be open all day. Some of them may be only open for that hour.
And the prompts are, Heather's going to ask you to do something to be eligible to enter in.
It's simple. Follow on Instagram. Sign up for newsletter.
Some of them are weird. Some of them
will
be fun.
Some of them you're going to hate. Okay, if you're like, well, I'm already following you on Instagram. I don't know, pressing on follow button again. We're going to pick from a follower, so it's going to be random. Those ones, that's just a numbers game.
Yeah.
It's going to be picked randomly. Close your eyes, scroll down, point at the screen. Then some of them are going to have a little bit more effort into them. And we're going to have our little sister Summer pick the winners. We do that every year. Put some effort into it.
Yeah.
Saying the word me, that's not a lot of effort.
I know.
I can know that girl likes pictures and she likes emojis.
We'll save this for next week, the strategy.
So that'll be starting at 8 p.m. until 5 p.m. for those big door prizes. There is another big door prize, which is that color mixer machine. You just got to get some more details on it, making it actually 11 door prize. But the vendors' door prizes have to be announced. I finally nailed it down by 9 p.m.
Nice.
And the big door prizes by 10 p.m.
Nice.
Yeah, so we have a little staggering there because there'll be almost 80 vendors picking door prizes, and then we have the big ones.
Just to help that you're overwhelmed so you can kind of digest this, during that day in that group, there will be over 400 posts that go up.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That is a lot. Your feed can't handle it. So you're going to feel overwhelmed because every 2 seconds, a new post is going to go up.
It was different when we were like, Run Eddie's being given away. That was real stressful. There's 10 Bosches. You have 10 chances. And then all the vendor door prizes. No needs to be stressed.
No, me and Heather talked about it. And it's probably because we're twins and we had to
share
everything, which was annoying. To hear that you could only win one thing, I was like, well, forget it. I
would never even enter something that you could only win one.
But if I have a chance to win 10 things, I'm so much more excited. So that's why we went with this. Instead of one thing of a door prize, we went with 10.
And I think it's been well received.
Yeah.
I like the shot at getting more shots.
Plus, a Bosch is a game changer.
Yeah. And if you already have one, you'll get another one. But you can do whatever you want with
get a third one.
People are like, more than one Bosch is just more production. It's a great idea.
When I load up my Bosches, they do it at the same time.
You have two.
I have an Artiste.
An Artiste, which is that one sold out? No, the refurbed. This is a Bosch affiliate sale, by the way. It's an affiliate sale. So I really like their affiliate program because as long as you click their link, you get not only their sale, but an additional $20.
Yeah, nice.
We use that money to fund the Vendy Blendy Facebook ads.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about this. And it's moving on. The Vendy Blendy, it is chugging along. If you haven't seen a post about it, go to any of the sugar cookie marketing profile. You'll hate it.
Yeah.
It'll be the only thing you see. And we'll just keep keeping that going. And it will be annoying. And then suddenly it'll all disappear. And we'll even delete every single mention of it. Okay. Corey allowed me for the Cookie College, which is on sale in the Vendy Blendy. She finally allowed me to do 3 months
It's been
free.
a lot of money lost for me this week.
3 months free on the yearly plan. So right now, the Cookie College is $76. During the Vendy Blendy, it will go to $63. The cheapest it's never been. Our introductory price 3 years ago was $68. So I did a Facebook Live with the Cookie College current roomies. They all can switch to this plan as well. In fact, I'm telling them if one of you doesn't switch, I'll be so upset for you. I can't switch for you.
I heard you.
But the adding that third month free. So for the yearly plan, for all of our yearly plans, you get 2 months free. For this Vendy Blendy, Corey allowed me to do 3 months free, which takes the monthly cost. So if you pay the year up front, divide it by 12, the monthly cost would be under $50. It would be $47. That is a product that we sell typically for $76 a month.
It will never.
Corey's got the worst attitude about this.
Will never happen again, madame.
And I will, thank you, madame. I will disable that at midnight Eastern Standard Time that day. So it'll only be enabled for the 24 hours. There's no exceptions. I can't turn it back on.
Yeah.
It's not how the platform works. But this should be good.
Yeah. Yeah, we're excited. I mean, we're in the thick of it right now, me and Heather. The thick of it. It's all we've talked about. But it's always a great vibe. There's a lot of planning. We got to thank the vendors for actually making this happen. Without them, this would be nothing.
The chicken or the egg. The vendors show up and then the penders show up. But it's the vendors who take the risk. Like, what if those girls don't have anyone buying
Without
from
the vendors, me and Heather would just be on bendies.
It's so funny. Corey and I are switching to a new account. I'm excited about it. But the new account, he was like, tell me about your business. It's like, well, there's something called a Vendi Blendy. Like, how to say that to another adult who's been in business for 30 years?
My husband sent it to me last night, the Vendi Blendy.
It's weird when you hear its full name in the world.
I know. I said, that's so weird coming from your face.
But then to the account, I was like, well, it's a vendor blender. As if that was like less corny.
Well, yeah.
It's a blender of vendors.
So next week, I guess we'll have another Vendi Blendy podcast.
We'll do Vendi Blendy strategy.
That'll be on the only thing on our mind next Tuesday anyways.
Don't talk to me. I'm out of commission after my birthday. Yeah. After I watch Gladiator. I'm out of commission. I'm Vendi Blendy brained.
The group will be useless.
There will be no marketing value. That said, it's such a fun vibe. And then after next week, you'll never hear us talk about it again.
I know. Can't wait.
Myself, I can include it. Corey and I go on a decompression mall run.
I know. Let's head over to our sponsors real quick.
I'm going to pull up text while you look.
Okay. Our sponsor number one, they'll actually be in the Vendi Blendy. It's the Backers Co. So the Backers Co. used to be called Acorn Backers. If you're just now listening to this podcast, she switched names. They rebranded to the Backers Co. The Backers Co. is a rigid, food-safe, matte, waterproof, scratch-resistant backer for your photos. A lot of times in our houses, specifically mine, because I live in a townhouse in the middle, it's very dark. It's very, wherever the sun isn't is where I'm trying to take these photos. So by buying these nice backdrops, I can transform a 23 by 23 inch square of my house into what looks like a gourmet kitchen, which is awesome to be able to help make more sales. People buy with their eyes. Social media is huge right now. So people want to see what they're getting. And if you want to make more sales, we always suggest up your photo game.
That is really real big.
I'm going to tell you, unless you really need one right now and you don't want it to sell out, she'll be 30% off at the Vendi Blendy next Friday.
The Backers Co. gets it. They get how the Vendi Blendy works.
If you're like, I'm not willing to risk it for the biscuit, I can't wake up at midnight, you can use code SUGARCOOKIE to get 20% off now. But I would highly recommend you could get two, girl math, for the price of one if you waited till the Vendi Blendy. But you can check them out now. Put down your must-haves if you want to know what I always gravitate towards. I love the white matte finish. For a starter one, I actually still use it almost on every single set. I love a wooden one. If you're doing things like sourdough, anything grainy, I like a wooden one. It really makes it look homemade.
I like it. I like it.
Fancy.
I like it.
And if you can't go wrong with a marble. Cannot go wrong with marble. Pickford is nice too. Okay.
What was the last part?
Pickford. A gray Pickford. Looks like a gray, like the shiplap.
I don't think I've even heard that word in my life before. Pickford?
I think it's been
floating around here 36 years and never got that one.
Next up is the Bakety Bake meringue powder. So Bakety Bake is a company that makes a meringue powder called Royal Batch. It is my favorite thing to use. I've been a convert ever since she first approached us and I gave it a testy. It's the only thing I use. The great thing about it, it has white food coloring in it, corn syrup, which gives your royal icing a soft bite, and it has vanilla extract in there. Did I say that twice? White food coloring, corn syrup, vanilla extract. So 3 ingredients you already add to it. It is in there.
Nice. I have no idea. If you said
You're
twice.
not even paying attention now.
Sorry, no.
Here's the thing. She'll also be in the Vendi Blendy. Ne'er before have I seen her offer 25% off.
She did 20% off last year. We were shocked.
We were shocked. So I'm going to tell you, the first place I will be at on Vendi Blendy.
And she's not allowed to buy it before you guys do.
Not 1201.
I know.
Heather will be letting you in. I'll be shopping.
I know she will. I know
Here's the thing. She does sell out because people do love her products. She's really has stocked up though. So you have a good chance of getting it. I will be getting the 5-pound bag because I'm greedy.
Yes.
But there's 1-pounders out there.
1-pounders.
If you're like, I cannot take the chance, I cannot wait, you can use code TWINS, save you 10% right now.
It told a lady in the group. She was like, what's the code? She called it. It's Royal Batch. She called it like on batch. And I was like, I don't know what that is.
Daily batch.
Daily batch. I was like, is it
honestly, I'm making a daily as well.
A daily batch. Ran out of a daily batch. I said, if it's Royal Batch, the code is TWINS, 10% off. I said,
would love to know about
it will
that
be
one.
on sale on the Vending Blendie, but it may sell out. So don't like get mad at me.
Right.
Like, because it would be bad if you're like, well, I really, really
I
need
know,
it. And
and
I'm also
Heather
going to buy
said,
it.
yeah.
So I said, hey, listen.
Tell them about Eduardo.
Last but never least, Eddie is not in the Vending Blendie, nor is he on sale, nor has he ever been on sale. I actually read somebody who was like, are you running a Black Friday sale? They asked Primera in the Facebook group, and Primera's like, we would actually run a Black Friday sale on our refurbished units, but they get sold so quickly that we never have any available.
Oh, wow.
They were running a sale on like a sticker thing. But Eddie is a direct-to-food printer. It sounds crazy. It should be at the top of your cookie Christmas wish list. And just tell Scout to tell Santa that you were really good this year. And you made all your little mini cake pops and they were delicious. And you listened to the twins and you ran for the refund and your business has grown. And you want to scale it into corporate orders. That is the move. It is a pretty interesting machine. I almost can't describe it to you and make sense. So I'm going to tell you to go to Primera's website, their Facebook page, their Facebook group. Actually, it's Eddie Printer Users Group on Facebook. And then I actually found this other group. It's called Unofficial Eddie Group.
Yeah.
Definitely great resources to see how far you can push this machine. Now, $3,000, not chump change at all. But you could start allocating some of your sales to pay for Eddie. I know they do have a financing program. Again, you're going to pay interest on that. You know how I feel about interest payments. But if you're like, I'm going to market this. Now, again, you can buy every machine in the world, but if you don't market effectively, what's the point? If you market this effectively, Corey has a running relationship with Neiman Marcus that's solely built off the shoulders of Eddie printed cookies. That's all those people want. And they want them last minute and they want 200 of them. So if you want to check that out, go to Eddie Printers Users Group on Facebook.
Love it.
I would love to know what you're typing on your phone.
I have to post the Dessert Depot to our...
You just randomly had to do that in the middle of the podcast?
You know, it had done it this morning, but I didn't let it stay open long enough, so it didn't do it. It's a part of my processes, so I must do it.
The thing is, it's what Corey's talking about now, is some of the vendors have the option to send Corey products for her to turn into a video to tell you guys what to pre-shop for the Vending Blendie. So Corey's been running through boxes.
It's their highlights.
Yeah.
So what
I've enjoyed watching
you'll
them.
Like, what they want to show you that you'll like.
And it kind of gives you a taste test of what the store has.
It really kind of, I've actually discovered a lot just from doing the videos.
If you just open some of these websites and peruse them, you'll be like, well, there's a lot more here than I realized. And then if you want to check out, Corey's posting them to Sugar Cookie Marketing _ on Instagram, or you can do this Sugar Cookie Marketing page on Facebook, or I think you've been posting into the groups now.
Yep. Everywhere.
Baking group?
Yep. That one, not as much.
Do not chagrin the
don't
baking
forget.
group.
I feel like they're just duplicates of the Sugar Cookie Market. There's actually a lot of people in the baking group that aren't in the Sugar.
I know, it really is surprising. When you guys go to request the Vending Blendie, it actually tells us which mutual groups we're in. I always love to see you gals and are we dating the same guy group? I see you.
I always see my sourdough friends and family.
So coming to the end of this, do you have 20?
Dude, I thought you were going to pull up the little text things.
Oh, shoot. They're right here. I'm sorry, the lawyer wrote me back and it seems official. I do not like. Okay. Hi, SEM ladies. Or at least I hope that's who I'm texting. Quick tangent. I could not for the life of me figure out if your texted number was posted anywhere. I ended up finding this number searching for the word text in a transcript from a past podcast. Okay. So if this isn't the SEM gals, I'm sorry for bothering you. This is Tiffany from Simply Joyful Cookies out of Dallas, Oregon. There's a Dallas, Oregon.
Dallas, Oregon? How confusing.
Dallas, Oregon, Texas. I'm wondering, with our constantly changing social media platforms, are hashtags still relevant? This is actually a great question. I used to use them religiously, but now I've noticed lately it doesn't feel like I'm using them or not using them. Does that change anything on my end as far as post reach? I'm wondering if it's still worth the time. Thank you, and thank you for all you do. Heart, my life wouldn't be the same without the two of you in my ear every Tuesday.
Same with us, Dallas, Texas, Oregon.
She's probably like, thank goodness
Nevada.
It's not this texting goes to some random grandpa somewhere.
All right. The biggest update that came to Instagram last week was that you can no longer follow hashtags. That was something I actually truly really liked because it allowed me to interact with businesses organically.
So just like you could follow an account and then see their post, you could follow a hashtag and see posts made by people who use that hashtag, which is actually how we used to run the collabs.
It was. Yeah, you could follow the hashtag. Here's the problem. Now you cannot follow a hashtag anymore. Those posts won't organically fall into your feed. The reason I was able to interact with businesses that were local to me was because they ended up in my feed. So it seemed less stalkerish, more organic.
Right.
So
It's a move of removing this feature.
I don't know. So I actually you can actually go into anyone's account and see which hashtags they follow if they're your followers. Yeah, so I go and see what people are following. They'll follow like
creepy
stuff. Yeah, a little
lady.
creepy. I don't know, what are you doing?
But it's kind of nice to follow the hashtag DMV foodie. We live in the DMV.
Right.
Then you could find people who were trying to end up in your feed, and then you can follow them because it's almost like they came in knocking first.
I know. So that's going to go away. So I think it's going to now come down to either which hashtag you engage with the most or which hashtags you use.
But like the explore feed become, I mean, if I accidentally tap anything on Instagram, my explore feed is now that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the ability to follow those hashtags won't be there anymore. You'll have to go out of your way. The ability to search them will still be there.
So still use hashtags.
Yeah, still use them. And I just don't know. That was such a nice way to show up.
The depreciation of hashtags has been rampant within Instagram.
The For You page has transformed a lot to it just being whatever you interact with is going to show up in your feed.
Yes.
And as bakers, we love to interact with other bakers. So your For You page will look a lot like baking.
Is this cleaning up your feed of only the people you truly want to see? Like now your feed becomes a feed of everyone you're following. It removes the hashtags. It's randomly showing up, right?
Yeah.
Although my feed is now like, hey, here's random stuff we think you're interested
absolutely. So I think it comes down to whatever you engage with. The problem with us bakers, we love to see what other bakers are doing. So baking stuff ends up in our feed, and there's no way for that random brewery down the road to end up in my feed now.
Darn. Wild question.
So I think you'll have to. The strategy will be each week to set out about some time, have your goal hashtag list of locals and go interact with each one of those by searching them out.
Another spreadsheet has entered the chat. Yeah, very interesting shift there. I don't say that is don't use hashtags. I'm going to say make the few that you use the most valuable. So gone are the days of hashtag follow for follow, and in are the days of hashtags that are very hyper local.
Yeah.
Remember, whatever your hashtag you use, if you use hashtag sugar cookie marketing, while I love that, you're going to get more bakers. You might get Corey, clearly looking at the hashtags you follow.
I do.
But, very good question. Next up, hi twins. This is Lisa from Minneapolis, Minnesota. First off, thanks so much for these podcasts. I just love listening to them while I bake, decorate, and clean. I think you two, both of you, are great teachers and super funny to listen to while giving us invaluable information. Thanks so much. My question has me worried, and I'm truly afraid of what you two might say as I explain this dilemma of mine. I haven't read this yet.
We're on the refund. I already know it.
My business is very new in that I'm just getting my cottage food license, and a graphic designer is currently designing my website, Facebook, and IG page. I should, quote unquote, officially be up and running legally in another couple of months. Yay. However, my dream and conception of creating this business started a few years ago, so I have just been baking for close friends and family. I even have the name of my bakery, and I just love it. It is near and dear to my heart. I'll use another name to try to keep my dilemma under wraps. My problem is that my bakery name is, fake name, Sweet Rosie's Little Baking Company, in parentheses, right? And there's another cookie about 4 or 5 towns south of me, 24 miles, and it has the name Rosie's Cookies. So I'm nervous because I can't imagine another name for mine. My grandma, who raised me as a small child and taught me to bake, her name is Rosie. My business is all about her. From a lot of recipes I use, my aesthetic of my brand, everything, it's all about my gram. The other bakers named her after her mom.
Oh.
That is a tough one. So we got, just to recap, we have, and these are made up names, Sweet Rosie's Little Baking Co. And the other company is Rosie's Cookies. So only one has the word cookies in it, but both have Rosie's plural.
Is it both starting with Rosie's?
No, Sweet Rosie's is the example name. The other baker, Rosie's Cookies. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what me and Heather say, fall in love with the strategy, not the name.
And I think that's why she's like, I hate that. Let me ask you this. Is Rosie's Cookies the example, the other competitor? Are they really active?
Yeah, are they active?
So my first line of defense is was it a project in 2020 that was ghosted?
Yeah.
If they're really active, go on to the next product strategy.
Yeah.
And you can do whatever you want at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, we want you to love the business that you're now going to pour your blood, sweat, and tears into.
I always say the best website I ever made. If you don't want to look at it, client, then it's not the best website I ever made.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. It will be an uphill battle. If they're only 4 or 5 towns away from us here in Northern Virginia, it's okay.
And she's from Minneapolis. That's a city.
So
okay, what Corey's trying to say is when you have a really high population, 4 or 5, 30 miles away here, it's a whole different, it's like a different continent to people who live here. Because to say I'm going to go pick up cookies 30 minutes away, 30 miles away, could be 2 hours of traveling time. So people will not cross the county lines. They'll hardly cross the city lines to go get a baker across the world to them, proverbially.
If your town is tiny, you will be being tagged accidentally. People will forget your name, tag her, and so you're working against yourself.
Because you guys' focus, both your names, is the word Rosie's, plural. It typically, with my brain, I hardly remember anything, but I can remember Rosie, so I'm going to at Rosie's and whatever populates. What I'd also hate for you to experience is that Rosie's mom comes and says, meet me in a dark alley because I was here first and now you're copying me, which I typically see the bakers will come to the Sugar Cookie Market group and say, somebody stole my name. You have the other option. The trademark thing, unless it's like word for word, I don't think that there's a case there. Yeah. You got the state registration, but again, you guys aren't the same name.
Right.
You aren't the same name. So I don't really think you have many options. You're going to hate what we're going to say. I'm going to say pick a different name. Did Graham? Did Graham have a different nickname? Did she have a middle name? Can we call her Graham's Cookies?
She called you Little Bean?
Graham's Crumbs?
Bean Bum?
Yeah, did Graham's call you something?
Yeah. We can incorporate Grandma in there. I love that.
I love that you called her Graham. That's also very cute.
I know. Graham Cracker? Graham Cracker?
Could you possibly change a name and have the products be about Graham? So Graham's favorite cookie recipe, Graham's favorite. We have Graham's favorites or Rosie's favorites. You're going to see that an established bakery has already built in terms of that SEO, that brand recognition, the social media following, and you're going to be picking up literal crumbs from that.
If they have kind of waned, they don't have a website.
Jump on in.
Yeah, you can jump on in. Pounce by its hot.
Battle of the Rosies.
But you don't want to poke a sleeping bear.
So you don't want to awaken them like, oh, you're trying to get on my turf. I'm going to double down. What you would really, really not like is for them to take this conundrum to a community group and say someone's trying to steal my name. Yeah. I've seen it posted a lot in our groups that those names are close enough. I know these are just examples that we'd see it.
We're just opening your mind's horizons to just, me and Heather are never really attached to names at all. So we're not great to ask that because we're like, strategy in, name out.
What's the easiest distance from me and that dollar in your pocket? If I have to jump the hurdles of proving, well, I'm not them, but I will take your order, that's so many, what we call clicks. You extend your funnel so much longer trying to get over the hurdles of, who are you again?
I know.
Right? I thought I ordered from you. What if I thought I ordered from you and they actually ordered from the other one?
I was the Crumb Cookies and I had to change the name because Crumble dominated the area and people were like, I didn't like your
people were complaining to Corey about a crumble cookie.
And someone applied to work for me. I said, okay, we're getting too close.
Also do that, W. You start tomorrow. So that'd be my example. At the end of the day, you can run your business as you please. That is not trademark infringement. I don't think there's any registration issues there if you want to talk to an attorney. But
our biggest suggestion is rebranding is a lot harder than coming out with your strong brand at the beginning, especially because you have a graphic designer.
Yeah, you've got website involved. You're getting the URL probably. And it sounds like you've already spent some money on this. Too late in the game to change it. Would I rather spend money now and fix it than 2 years when I have an established brand? I got to change it. It was hard for us to do it for Corey. And companies that I've worked with that have rebranded always go through a suffering period. Really does. Last text. Hi, Heather and Corey. I just sent a little. Oh, this is so fun. I actually posted this in the group yesterday. Hi, Heather and Corey. Just sent you a little digital birthday present via text, so don't mistake it for spam. Thanks for all you guys do. My business is growing so fast, and I owe you a large part of it. Thank you all. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And then she said, oh, bummer. It doesn't look like you can send it through text. I'm resending it through Hello Sugar Cookie Marketing. It was a gift card to Olive Garden.
We should go today.
Okay.
Which one?
No, that's very far from me. That is very far. We can go on our birthday.
You love a drive.
My brake lights are not working. Did you have your twin turret?
No, I don't really have anything.
I'm going to give a twin to that guy I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Listen to this podcast last week. Done roll your eyes. And he got me the Joe Malone perfume.
This is Heather and Snap. We have like a family Snapchat. Who told him that this is my favorite song? Come
Are you just jealous?
right now.
Are you just jealous?
Come forward.
Did you spray it on yourself?
Did you tell right about my favorite song?
I saw you spraying it on yourself in the morning.
Listen, the scent that we had talked about on the podcast last week, and Heather ordered it, they canceled it because there's none left in America.
No, it was from Europe. They canceled it from Europe.
Yeah, there's none in the world, okay? Brian, because people say Brian. So I said, "Where Brian didn't get me one, didn't he? Because we're twins." None of Heather's boyfriends have ever showed up for my birthday. I think Rob did one.
Brian sent you flowers last year.
What happened to this year? Are we already flailing?
I don't know.
Brian, get back on that.
What's your twin twist with your bad attitude?
My husband bought me some sweatshirts.
That is very nice.
It was very, very nice.
Can you get your head out of your
very,
Baker Road?
nice. I just want to be a ginger brisket.
Bye.